Animating in SketchUp is really just a matter of saving a sequence of scenes and letting SketchUp interpolate the transitions between them. In this first example, we'll manually create a walkthrough animation by saving scenes as we move along with the camera. Press Option C to place the camera, and I'm going to start dragging right here towards this open door. So the camera will be right on the deck looking in the door. Then I'll type in 5 feet return for the eye height. Press Z to activate the zoom tool, and you can see down here in the measurements toolbar that the field of view is currently 30 degrees. Let's change that to 45 degrees to get a wider angle view, which is more appropriate for an interior. And then open the scenes window. Make sure that camera location is checked and click plus to add the first scene. Then press W to activate the walk tool. Walk forward a bit. Save a scene. Walk inside. Save another scene. And then walk towards the kitchen a little bit more. And save a 4th scene. So let's take a look. Scene 1 is out here. Scene 2 moves us in a little closer. Scene 3 goes through the door. And Scene 4 takes us towards the kitchen. Open Model Info by pressing Command-Shift-I. The animation page contains 2 different numbers: the transition between scenes and the delay while you're at a scene. We don't want to have any delay at the scene itself, so I'm going to set this to 0. We have 4 scenes, so we have 3 transitions in between them. So if this was going to become a continuous animation, it would last exactly 6 seconds. We can preview that by going to Scene 1, right-click on the page and choose Play Animation, and it will move through these 3 transitions of 2 seconds each. Now on the screen, it's going to pause slightly in between them, and it's going to loop around and continue animating. I'll click Scene 1 just to stop the animation. If you want SketchUp to actually interpolate between all of these positions in time, it's necessary to create a separate animation file, and you do that by going File, Export, Animation. Here we'll choose the name, the format, and the options. I'll just format it for the web so it's quite small. I'll anti-alias it so it looks a little bit better. And then Export. It takes a little time while SketchUp is saving each one of these interpolated transitions between the scenes to disk. When it's done, we have a QuickTime movie on the hard drive that we can play, and here's the result. It's much smoother than we get in SketchUp, but notice that as we move through the space, it kind of shifts its position rather suddenly right there. And that has to do with the fact that we're interpolating between these 4 fixed positions. You can get a smoother result by using Rick Wilson's Flight Path Ruby script, which I currently have loaded. What this script does is it takes a curve and turns that into a series of scenes. So to get a smooth flight path, you should use a smooth curve such as a Bezier spline. Let's do this in the top view, so I'll press Command 1, and I'll press J to enter parallel projection mode. To make this easier, I'm going to turn off the roof layer temporarily, and then I'm going to go ahead and open up the Bezier Spline toolbar. I'll create a cubic Bezier curve representing the flight path of the camera, and I'll just sketch that in right here. And then maybe I'll edit it to have a little bit less of a curve. We kind of need to have an S shape here to go in the door, though. And then I'll double-click to finish. Press J to enter perspective mode. Move the curve up in the blue direction 5 feet to represent the eye height. So there's our curve representing the path that we want the camera to take. I'll close this toolbar and turn the roof back on. Right-click on the path and choose Flight Path. We're asked to set a number of feet per scene. So I'll just type in 10 feet, which is about right for this scale. We don't need to reverse the path because we started it over here, we ended it over here, so I'll say no. And it creates a number of scenes. So we go through these scenes just like we did before, but FlightPath automated this according to the curve that we drew. So now we can create an animation by going up to the File menu and choosing File, Export, Animation. And we'll call this Glidehouse 2 and export it in the same way. In the end, the movie looks like this. It's smooth, but it's a little too fast. If we want to make the animation last longer, we have to go back into SketchUp, go into Model Info, and increase the transition between scenes here to a larger value.